Well, you know what they say. When all you got's a hammer, all your problems start to look like hockey pucks. Today, going to be using some of these in their non-intended purpose. Can actually generate a few, need some thick rubber seals. Going to be upgrading the ignition system on my bike. And I go into these fancy stick coils, these post-1997 inventions here. But the old spark plug wires had a nice little cap on top so as to prevent the ingress of liquids and pooling around the end of the spark plug there. Let's get started. Now, to give you an idea why this is necessary, here's the old ignition system here, the old spark plug wires. They have this cap on top which mates with this surface here. It just prevents the ingress of liquids. This is the radiator cap here, so you could theoretically have a bubbling over of high temperature coolant, and if that liquid has a pathway right down into that passageway there, it certainly wouldn't be a good thing. In fact, I think that might have been why this bike failed the compression test on cylinder 3. I think that some coolant might have bubbled in there and eaten the rings out. At least that's what we saw in the spark plug, and we know for a fact that the radiator cap is bad. So, previous owner left that little surprise for me there. And we will be taking this engine apart, which is, it is what it is. But anyway, we're going to fix what we can today. So here's the stick coil, and as you see, we stick that in. We've got too much of it's sticking out here, and we've got too much of a gap here. Liquid's just going to fall right in there. So we're going to generate a thick rubber seal here. It's just going to mate with this soft rubber surface here and lay flat against the valve cover. At least that's what will happen if we're lucky. Now, as every Canadian learns in grade school, a hockey puck, one such as this, is going to be exactly 25.4 millimeters thick. You'd be forgiven if you're in the States thinking that's an inch. It is actually, you do the math and it actually winds up being exactly 25.4 millimeters. And I've measured this, and I've found out that this is exactly 25.4 millimeters. So I think we're going to be alright. We're going to basically move over to the drill press. We're going to take this hockey puck and we're going to do some ungodly things to it. And generate a little seal here that's going to fit just about right, I think. So, looking through my collection of 1 or 2 hole saws, I'll tell you this one's going to be closest. It's labeled with some kind of American number here. It says it's 2 and 1/8 inches. In actual fact, in the land of the Seine, that's 53.98 millimeters. So that's a lot easier to remember. This is the 53.98 millimeters. And we're going to measure the old spark plug cap. Just make sure that we're going to be about right. Again, switched over to inches there. 56 millimeters. Should be about right. This is the exterior diameter, mind you. The ID is probably going to be 4 or 5 mils shorter than that. So I think we'll be about right with this hole saw. Oh, and just a side note, these Canadian Tire Pail pucks, look at it, looks like a lot of pucks. Yeah, it's not that many, it's like a bag of chips. I'll tell you the thing half full. Not very polite. So what I can say from experience, hockey pucks are a pretty good source of rubber. You don't want to use a saw on these. Definitely don't want to use like a jigsaw or some kind of hand saw. A keyhole saw would be brutal because it'll just chew it up. And you don't want to use an electric hand tool. It tends to get pretty hot. It's hard slogging for a weaker tool. So you really do want something that's a little more stationary, a little bit more robust. You can cut these just fine with hole saw. Spade bits work well. The Olfa knife is your friend also if you need to do any fine shaping. Cannot sand it, obviously. Sandpaper just kind of bounces right off it. But I've marked a little line here. That's about 15 mils. Should get us a little more than halfway through. Just make sure that we don't run in a hole saw right into this little vise here. I'll set it up. that was a shit show. Alright. The other thing is, you can't actually clamp on this too hard. If you reef this down, you're going to actually change the shape of this, and that's going to mean your hole, when you release the tension on this vise, is actually going to be an oval. So you need a light touch, not too light or else it'll fly off on you. Like that. Makes a mess too. So we got a hole drilled through the other side. That's going to allow us to line up the bit properly. So we finished cutting through our 4 hockey pucks. I created a bit of a mess. We're not quite done. These, I'm going to keep these in the booth. Might be useful for supporting parts on, that sort of thing. But essentially now we need to measure the diameter of the stick coil itself. Again, up with that soft rubber seal there. And comes in right at 24.8 millimeters, which, as you may recall, is pretty darn close to 25.4, which corresponds to this spade bit. It's got a funny number 1 on it. Again, I'm not sure what the 1 means. Some kind of old-fashioned measuring system or indexing, I don't know. But anyway, let's swap our hole saw out for the spade bit. And then we're going to drill right down the center of this pilot hole we've conveniently already placed in the middle of each of these pucks. And again, we want to make sure that we're not going to run this right into the vise here. And again, we can't clamp too hard on this. Just going to try to keep it snug. Kind of neat looking chips here, right? And we just repeat for all 4 pieces. So with our parts complete, put the stick coil right in there and check the fit. And that's just perfect. So it's snug against the valve cover. It's tight against the stick coil, and the stick coil still has full contact with the end of the spark plug. So that's a win. Happy Canada Day. Thanks for watching.